Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for another day. Thank you for another day. Thank you for a good night's rest. So we just look to you today. Our eyes are upon you today. Our ears are attentive to you today. Thank you for another day. Wow. Just want to share something. Hebrews 3, verse 7 says, today if you will hear his voice. Today, if you will hear his voice. You go down to verse 13, it says, encourage each other daily while it is yet today. So it's just talking about listening today and encouraging one another today. That's what I want to do. If I was to ask you to do something today, it would probably be one of the best things you could do is read Hebrews chapter 3. It talks about how faithful Jesus was, and it deals with some stuff that is real important. Maybe one of the most important things that we need to understand is how damaging unbelief is, how it really affects everything we do and say. Every aspect of our life, it comes from a heart that is hardened and hard. So if you have time today, or if you would take the time today, I'm sure you have time, to read Hebrews chapter 3, I think it would help you. Encourage each other daily while it's yet today. Today, if you will hear his voice. Think about that for just a moment. See, when we look at the life of Jesus, his birth said something, and it's hard to say this sometimes, but I just want you to hear me out for just a moment. It's hard on me, because his birth said, yesterday's gone. His life, as he lived it out, and so many people that he touched and reached, no matter if they were blind or lame or dead, it didn't matter if they were religious, it didn't matter if they were rich or poor, if they were heathens, if they were demon-possessed, it didn't matter what the condition of their life was. What happened was, he said, when they encountered Jesus, he said, yesterday's gone. His death made a statement loud and clear, yesterday's gone. His resurrection made a statement that said, yesterday's gone. And the 40 days now after the resurrection that we're kind of looking at, he's telling everybody that he's meeting the same thing. He's basically spreading the news, yesterday's gone. And so I just want you to hear that, because it's so hard. Because one of our favorite things to do is to reminisce and remember. And there's nothing wrong with reminiscing. There's nothing wrong with remembering. And then another thing that we do a lot of is we plan and we prepare. And there's nothing wrong with planning and preparing. But I just want to remind you that when we reminisce and when we remember, every one of those moments, every one of those memories had a day. They were captured in this day. They said that they did that. They were there. It was all captured in a day. It was in that day. And then all of our planning and preparing, it has a day. And if we're not careful, what happens is we end up living a life that's always wishing and wanting yesterday to return. We're always wishing and wanting yesterday to return. And so we miss out on what God wants to say to us today and who he wants us to encourage today. If we're not careful, we're always planning and preparing, for tomorrow. And what happens is, if we're always planning and preparing and talking about, and there's nothing wrong with it, tomorrow. It's simply, if we're not careful, we miss out on what he has to say today. and encouraging somebody while it's yet today. So I just want to remind you of that, because when I look, I know that every plan has its day. All our preparation has a day that's attached to it. I know that all our reminiscing and remembering has a day. It has a moment that we just go back to. And they're called precious moments. They're memories. And I love making memories. It's one of my favorite things to do. Two things: I love to laugh and I love to make memories. And so I just want to remind you to maybe read Hebrews 3 today. Maybe listen a little closer today. Maybe encourage someone today, because this could be one of the greatest days. You know, the problem that I've had over the years, that Susie asked me a question. It's really a good question. What are we going to do today? Then she would always ask me this question, probably every day. She asked me, what are you going to do today? Well, can I just ask you that question? Wow. What are you going to do today? What are we going to do today? Now, I've heard it for 46 plus years from Susie. Good question. Rick, what are we going to do today? Rick, what are you going to do today? And I just want you to think about that, because I think it's what Jesus said. You know, and if we're not careful, we miss out on a lot of days wanting and wishing tomorrow to come. Just waiting and wanting and wishing tomorrow to come, tomorrow to get here. A lot of times I don't do something that I'm supposed to do, and the reason I don't do it, I simply come to the conclusion I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow never comes, so a lot of it I never do it, because I'm going to do it tomorrow when I should do it today. A lot of times I miss out on today's because what I do is I'm just wanting yesterday. Some of the saddest things that I see is religiously, financially, spiritually, relationally. I have a bunch of people in my life that, man, just are living in yesterday. And it really does break my heart, because religiously they want to go back to yesterday and the rules and regulations and laws, and they want to go back to yesterday. And they want us to live in yesterday. And then I look at their lives and they're missing out on today with their family and with their children and with their influence. Then I got all these people that are planning all these great things for tomorrow, and they're preparing for tomorrow. And it really breaks my heart, because they could have had a really, really memorable moment today. They could have done something in the life of that son or daughter that would have impacted them for eternity today. I don't know. Let me just remind you a couple of things. Today is the day of salvation. Don't put it off. Let me remind you, this is the day the Lord hath made. Will you rejoice and be glad in it? Just a thought. But I guess what's really ringing out my ears is Susie's question to me. And let's just put it out with our heart. Can I ask you, what are we going to do today? Rick, you, what are you going to do today? Let me ask you that again, because Susie, Rick, what are you going to do today? Rick, you didn't tell me. What are you going to do today? God bless you. Wow, I'm just kind of a little brokenhearted over people not getting to have great days. I want you to have a great day. I mean that. That's not just words. It's my prayer for you today. Have a great day. Make this a great day. Do it today. God bless you.